All right. Hello, everyone. This is Gary Ryan for the Fed Week Flash. This is for Monday, July 18th. And this is something that's been on my mind a little bit the last week or so. And I was talking with some of the players via chat and talking about some of the old players that I did not get a chance to see uh, play a few years ago in the Fed, wishing I had. And that got me kind of thinking. I thought it would be a great way to kind of memorialize some of these players, uh, pay them honor by naming awards after them. I mean, in the NHL, you've got the Art Ross Trophy, you've got the Lady Byng, you've got the Vezina, all these uh, trophies that are named after uh, great people involved in the NHL's history. And so I thought it would be awesome if the FPHL did that as well with their awards at the end of the year. I mean, we had a league MVP last year, Gus Ford. Okay, he was mentioned on the Facebook page, and that's great and everything. Not the Facebook page, but the league page. And I thought it'd be really nice if there was some actual hardware. It doesn't have to be anything elaborate, but something that the player can hold uh, to kind of say, hey, this is awesome. I had an awesome year, and the league recognized it. So anyway, I put together a partial list. I started a list, and I'm kind of needing some help with the rest of it. Had some ideas for different awards. Now, a lot of these awards are already given out. Not all of them are. And so that's where I'm kind of like, well, we've gotten this far, and it'd be great if there was some trophies given out at the end of the year to the players for the different accomplishments, um, bearing the names of some of the FPHL and FHL greats. So, yeah, the first one in my mind is a no-brainer. Your league MVP or your Art Ross trophy, the Fed version of the Art Ross, would have to be Ahmed Mahfouz. You think about it, he's the all-time leader in points, played for 12 years, 295 goals, 590 assists, 885 points. He led the league 4 times, 4 years in scoring, playing for 7 different teams. Um, I think Mahfouz deserves to be immortalized a little bit with an award. Okay, our version of the Rocket Richard Trophy, we're going to name the Pierre Dagenet Trophy, which many of you might be going, who was that? He only played the first 2 years in the league. Former NHLer, had 142 games of NHL experience with New Jersey, Florida. I think there was a couple other teams as well. But he played for the first 2 years with the Akwesasne Warriors. And the second year, 2011 to 2012, exploded for 81 goals, which is still the record. And so I thought, that's kind of a no-brainer. You got to have that. Dagenet, it was incredible. 2 years, 68 total games played, and that's 107 goals in that time. Obviously, this was at the end of his career, but think if he had put in a couple more years, he probably would have been around 200 goals. Totally incredible. All right. The Vezina for best goalie would have to be, in my mind, the Nick Neidert Award. A lot of people are saying, well, Nick Neidert's stats were okay, but they weren't fantastic. Well, George Vezina's stats aren't that great either. They were great for the time back in the dead puck era. Actually, he was before the dead puck era. But Neidert ended up playing 8 years and put together quite a resume. 178 games played, 65 wins. He had a respectable 397 goals against and an 888 save percentage, but the longevity is what really sticks out. I mean, he played 8 years in the Fed. A little time in the ECHL and the SPHL peppered in there as well. But Neidert, obviously, who is now coaching in Macon in the SP, uh, I think he's worthy of some respect there. All right. Wanted to do a version of the Jennings Trophy that goes to the goalie with the best goals against. And so I thought, let's go back in time. Let's find someone who really stood out back then. And Dan McQuinn was one of those players. Played only 3 years in the Fed, but the 1 year, fantastic year with the New Jersey Outlaws. 24-4-0. He had a 260 goals against that year and 921 save percentage, which, especially for the second year of the league, those were fantastic numbers. Over 3 years, 54 games played, 913 save percentage, 3.1 goals against. That's pretty darn good. Now, we're seeing a lot more goaltenders get under 3 now, but that always hasn't been the case in the Fed. But Dan McWhinney was definitely a standout in the earlier years of the Fed, and so I think he's worthy of some recognition there. And then we have the Calder Trophy, and I wanted to pay homage to a player who unfortunately is no longer with us. That would be Peter Vetri. Played 4 years with the Danbury Whalers and won the Rookie of the Year honor himself. So that's why I thought he was a perfect fit for that. And he played very well. 3.11 goals against, 921 save percentage. Unfortunately, passed away this past May, 37 years of age. But I think he's definitely worthy of some mention for having a trophy named after him for Rookie of the Year. Then we have our other categories. In the NHL, you have the Norris Trophy for the best defenseman. You have the Messier Leader Award that goes to the player who best exemplifies on ice leadership. The Selke, best 200-foot player, aka defensive forward. You have the Ted Lindsay Award, which goes to a player that the players vote on it. With the NHL, it goes to the player who's deemed the most valuable to his team. So like this last year, Connor McDavid won both the Art Ross and the Lindsay in the NHL. But, two different voting groups. Conn Smythe goes without saying, your playoff MVP. The Masterton Award for perseverance for players who have overcome all sorts of imaginable hurdles and have exemplified perseverance and dedication to the game of hockey. And then a Lady Byng for sportsmanship, but I haven't gotten this far yet to really study all different players that played back then, and I didn't watch them. So, I need a little help in this. So what I did is just to kind of give a reference. Now, some of these awards were actual awards given via the FPHL page to players, like league MVP was Gus Ford. If there was a Rocket Richard Trophy, it would have gone to Yaroslav Yevdokimov. I love to say that name. Of the Mississippi Seawolves. Led the league with 52 goals this year. Vezina goalies this year, it was shared by Brendan Colgan and Brian Wilson. I would give the edge to Wilson from the hat tricks. He played in more games, and I think he had a bigger impact to his team. Not putting Colgan down by any means. I mean, the guy had 7 shutouts. But Colgan would get the Jennings, obviously. And then the Calder. This last year, Rookie of the Year was Lucas Rowe from the Carolina Thunderbirds. Your Norris, there were co-winners, Jake Schultz from the Binghamton Black Bears and Yuri Pastuka from Carolina. The Messier Leadership Award, I think, that in my mind is no brainer. You've got to go with Johnny Ruiz from the Hat Tricks. He's the heart and soul of that team. And everything he does, everybody's looking and watching at what he's doing. The Selke Award. I might be a little biased on this, but I thought his play exemplified what a Selke forward is. Great guy in the face-off circle. Very defensively responsible. Plays both ends of the ice equally well. I picked Josh Newberg from Binghamton Black Bears. Of course, there was no Selke Award winner in reality, but that would have been my pick. My pick for the Lindsay, or the player most valuable to his team, I would give to Yanni Liriakos from the Mississippi Seawolves. Led the league in assists, and he and Yevdokimov made a tremendous team. And anyone else who played on that line, whether it was Jake Raleigh or Sam Turner or whoever, I mean, he helped improve and better the players around him. So that was my pick. The Conn Smythe, which of course doesn't go by that name, but that was given to Michael Marchesand of the Hat Tricks. I think he deserved that. And then Lady Bing for sportsmanship, or Masterton rather, for perseverance, I would give to Noah Wild. Here's a guy that ended up out of action for 2 long stints, not by his own fault, it was injuries. But Noah Wild really was exemplary as far as perseverance and dedication for the Elmira Mammoth last year. And I really didn't pick a Lady Bing winner. I had some people that I thought could fit in there, but I really couldn't narrow it down. So anyway, tell me down below in your comments, leave a comment, and tell me, who you would put in these players. If you were awarding these awards last year, Fed style, who would you have picked? And more importantly, if you have a name that you think fits with these different categories, please let me know. You can either comment down below, or you can send me an email. It's sideways there at bbb22segments@yahoo.com, and make your suggestion and share. Could use your help with this. I'd really, but I really think that this should be a thing. I think this would really help promote a good image with the league overall, and especially if you have hardware. Again, you have a picture of from last year. You had a picture of Gus Ford holding, an Ahmed Mahfouz trophy. That would be cool. That would be really, really cool. So anyway, that's what I have for today. Make sure to keep in touch. Follow me here on YouTube. Follow me on Facebook, Fed League Flash. And of course, Thursday we have our Spotify podcasts. Always watch for those. All right. Thank you so much for watching and for your support. I'm Gary Ryan. Have yourself a wonderful week.